What is going on, YouTube? Pass the prop back here yet again. We're here with some NBA and some MLB action today. Joined as always by my guys too. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's one of those slates where I didn't even know what I was going to be talking about today. Hectic MLB slate, all day action starting in literally like 45 minutes. And then, we got multiple NBA playoff games tonight as well to talk about. So excited to dive into it. It's going to be a busy day, but yeah, I think we got some good props to talk about.
Yeah, a lot of games, I was telling you before, I'm just kind of going through the motions a little bit here, and hopefully we can find a couple spots that we do like on this slate. I'll kind of kick it over to you if you want to talk some of these games from before these last couple days. Obviously, we weren't here Monday, couldn't make a time work, but we're here today. Anything you want to mention about those games?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I always I get angry when I'm watching games, and I get we do rants every once in a while on here, but it's really hard to contain anger for a day or even a night, to be fired up the next day. So, not too angry about anything at this point, but I will say that Knicks game, if anyone watched that the other day, Knicks versus Pistons, I bet on the Knicks. It was crazy. The whistle Jalen Brunson was getting was insane. Jalen Brunson, I feel like in real time is going from one of my favorite players to watch to one of my least favorite players to watch. The guy's playing peak, 2021 James Harden, Trae Young. Every single time a defender leans into him, fully jumping into him, arms all over the place, looking for the foul. He probably had 5 shot attempts that were not legitimate shot attempts last game, that were just clearly trying to bait out that foul. And I respect it. You got a young guy on you, Thompson, rookie. That's a young guy you can, mess around with a little bit. First playoff exposure, I should say. And I get it. Foul baiting is part of the game. But, I don't know, man. The Knicks were, unwatchable. That game was brutal because it wasn't, almost a comeback. But, we were very close to, the Knicks possibly winning that game. And if that happened, I just feel like that would have been kind of a sad state to where the NBA is. So I'm hoping the whistle evens out. That's really the only rant-worthy thing I have to say. I got a lot of Michigan family, a lot of Detroit people in the bloodline. I can't watch these guys get screwed over like that. I get it's the big city New York team coming in, but I'm hoping that whistle evens out. And that's one thing I'm going to be watching closely, because if Brunson's getting those kind of fouls, I would probably take Brunson points again. But if he's not, you could really see minus 5-6 points to what he's been doing so far. So that stuck off the top of my head is a little bit of a frustrating thing from these games. But overall, good playoffs. I think the best series is clearly that Clippers-Denver one. Those games have been awesome. And yeah, sorry to your Bucks. Unfortunately, it's been a brutal watch recently, even with Dame yesterday.
Yeah, dude, I'm not even really that worried, honestly. The dude hasn't played in 3 months. What the fuck you think he's gonna do? What do you think he's gonna do? Luckily, Bobby showed up, and yeah, I'll be taking the game. I'll be taking them to win these next 2 for sure. Yeah, I don't know why you're sorry. I don't, they shot the fucking lights out of the ball, bro. That first quarter. They could not. I bet you could have put 3 dudes on every single one of those guys, and they were still making them. They were hitting stupid shit. Even the first game, they were hitting all these crazy shots. And you started seeing them in the second half kind of start missing, and I think that's going to be something there. Obviously, I hope the Bucks win. And again, I will reiterate it. Doesn't matter. You could have a fucking all NBA team on this until Doc Rivers' ass is gone, bro. It doesn't matter. He's a terrible coach. He's been a terrible coach. Bailed out by the big 3. I've been saying that since he's gotten brought on. So I feel like I'm very consistent with that. But yeah, dude, I want them to go down early. I want the Pacers to go down early and just see if they keep talking, because they got to get punched in the mouth, right? And that's kind of what I want to start seeing here is them take it in the first quarter, be down 10, and see if they still got it, because I'm just tired of watching Halliburton talk like this, bro. And then you saw them; they won last year when Giannis got hurt against the Bucks. The next series, dude didn't say a lick because the boys got fucking swept and they got smoked. He didn't say one word. I'm like, if you're gonna do it, stand on it, man. Because that's what I liked about Anthony Edwards. Even last night, bro, that boy kept talking and they were losing, and it didn't matter. They were on 14. And that dude was still in your face, like they were up 30. right? And if you're gonna talk like that, you got to talk like it the whole time. That's all I ask. That's all, and I feel like that's why people are kind of he's turning into a heel now, right? He's turning into one of those guys that I don't know one person that likes Tyrese Halliburton. I seriously don't. I don't think I know one person that genuinely likes the guy. And I'm from Wisconsin, and he's from here, and people still don't like him here. So I think it's hilarious to watch. It's kind of like that guy who just stands behind someone, and when they're winning, he's like, yeah, and then when they're losing, just like kind of do the Homer Simpson into the shrubs there a little bit. So that's kind of my whole thought on it too. And when did like Siakam start thinking he can talk some shit? That dude's fucking ass. Like, what are we doing? He's talking shit to Giannis. Like, what are we doing here, dude? Like, you're an outside top 40 player in the NBA trying to talk to a top 3. Like, you're doing something. The dude just dropped 34, 14, and 7. Dame's still coming off that thing. I'm going to wait a little bit and see what happens. Obviously, I think Dame will play better. When you haven't played in 3 months, you can't really run that much when you got a calf issue. Like, that's a tough one to have at this point in the season, though. So I'm not as worried as I feel like a lot more other people are.
That's fair. And yeah, I think the thing I noticed with Dame is the defensive side of the ball, not the offensive side. I mean, like you said, on offense, he can still shoot, obviously, but when you have the blood clot stuff and not being in peak conditioning from that, they're pretty much just kind of attacking him every time he was on the court. And because the Bucks don't have great defenders outside of that, there's no one there to like make up for that, and kind of take those extra assignments outside of just Giannis and Lopez in the paint, but then that opens up the mid-range, the 3, all that kind of stuff. So whoever gets that assignment, once again, they'll probably try to hide Dame on like Nesmith is what they were doing at times, I believe. A little bit of Nembhard, but obviously that didn't work out. Nembhard's been a baller. That's the one guy I actually like on the Pacers recently. Seeing that guy turn up in the playoffs every year has been very impressive. And now that we're building up like these high-level role players you see across the, whether it's a Derek White, like legendary role player, Austin Reeves kind of in that category as well. I mean, I think Nembhard is kind of scratching his way into one of the higher level role players in the league as well. So I didn't want to shout out him. I remembered that he's been a baller. He's been cashing tickets for me and just playing good basketball on both sides of the ball. That's the one likable Pacer we'll throw out there. Yeah,
no, for sure. Let's recap. We'll recap. We got 15 of you guys in here. We appreciate you guys. Hit that like button if you could. Again, Stu, I have absolutely no idea if this play won, so I will kick this to you from Friday.
Yeah, we did not win this one, unfortunately. Davion Mitchell fell short on the steal, and I don't remember what Anthony Davis ended up doing.
I don't think he had a block because I was looking at his stat line, and I remember looking at it, and I'm like, holy fuck, this dude is going off. And then I look, I'm like, why is it? Like, I don't think he had a block, but he had like 38 points, 40 points. And it was just like, I didn't see the end of the game. I watched the first half because I was at a bar and it was on, and I'm like, damn, this guy's going crazy. And I'm like, I had to look and see if he was still doing it defensively. I don't know if he did.
No, he had one block. He didn't get there. Only one block, one steal. So no dice in the defensive parlay, unfortunately. Big fan of that one, but my boy Davion couldn't get it done early.
And yeah, we ended up getting to ours there. Really weird circumstances. I guess, when you're on a roll, I feel like sometimes you get those breaks, right? And I feel like this one was one of those breaks where Reagan's ended up with 8 strikeouts. He did not throw well. He had like 5 runs. Like, he did not look good in any way, shape, or form in that game. But he did get the 8 strikeouts. The one I'm talking about is that Perez bet against Boston, and 5 balls, first 5 batted balls over 100 exit velo. Only 2 of them were hits. So that kind of made me nervous. He had a super long second inning, had 2 hits allowed, and then had a quick third inning and gave up a hit. So we ended up hitting it in the 3rd inning, and then they pulled him because he had like a 70-pitch pitch count. So, like, if anybody bet the straight line, that 5.5, you take an L, even though he gave up 5 hits in 3 innings, and you're feeling fucking great. Gave up 4 runs, and he was out already. So, it makes me feel a little better that we bought it down, feeling a little better about that spot. But, yeah, we'll take a win when we can. So, always feeling good, and hopefully we can keep it running on the show. I think we hit our last 6 or 7 here on the show, and hopefully we can get another one.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was a little sweaty with Reagan's. I had the K's as well. I didn't pay attention to Perez. I'm glad he got the job done. But yeah, I've noticed that honestly, some of these elite guys, I've been noticing they've been getting the K's like real late in the games, which is interesting. I feel like just common sense would tell you like your best stuff is there early. You probably would have the K's earlier. But from actually like watching a lot more this year, I've noticed a lot of these guys are kind of getting them like before they're getting pulled than in the end, which is sweaty as hell. But obviously it worked out here.
Yeah, what I will say is I know a lot of these guys, especially in a lot of these games that we're watching, there's still a lot of divisional games early where a lot of these pitchers, dude, will save one, right? They'll save one. That's usually kind of how we even do it in college too, where it's like you got a 4-pitch mix, you're really only using 2 or 3, and then you have one to save. I will say I did see Reagan do that against the Brewers. He didn't even throw his sweeper at all, and that was one of his best pitches. He didn't even throw it at all until the second time through the lineup, and then he just started mowing guys. So just something to kind of keep in mind if you're in the weeds in the trenches like we are here. That's just something that kind of happens more often than not.
Yeah, that's a good point. And too, I remember even my guy Max Scherzer all those years, he was always saying his fastest pitch, he wanted to be his last one, just save a little bit of gas in the tank there for the end. Obviously more important in like high leverage games than like your average day-to-day one. But yeah, glad we got that one there. And, we could cancel out my L in the NBA.
Yeah, so we moved to 40 and 27. We're at 17 units still on basketball in general. The MLB numbers starting to jump up. We love to see it. Obviously, the two long shots definitely help those numbers. And obviously, trying to get as much plus money as I can on these spots to start the season. So I think what we're doing is I'm going to go first here. I only have one spot for you guys today because I kind of want to keep this run going and not having to worry about playing too many, finding too many spots. But this is going to be involved in that first game, and I want to make sure that you guys can grab these ones in time. The 15 of you guys in here, grab it right away. I'm going to Bryce Elder, 5 hits allowed with Trevor Williams, 4 hits allowed at minus 120. I am perfectly content with a fade on both these guys today. Let's start out with Bryce Elder. Bryce Elder gets to face St. Louis, who has a 109 WRC plus against right-handed pitching so far this year. That's across over 680 at-bats. Only a 19% K rate. I will be on his under strikeouts as well today, and that's because they only have a 19% K rate against righties, and Bryce Elder has a 14% K rate. He has not, I think this is funny, against the left-handed batters. He has gotten 3 whiffs, or no. Let me put this back into it. Sinker, 30 pitches, no whiffs. 4-seamer, 27 pitches, no whiffs. He's gotten 3 whiffs on his changeup through 26 pitches. Like there's just no swing and miss here. And if I have to worry about having to deal with a lot of these left-handed bats, they have guys that are very good at putting the ball in play. You got guys like Newt Barr, who's been on an absolute heater. Brendan Donovan in the middle of that lineup. And I feel like a guy like Nolan Gorman, a guy that is a heavy swing and miss guy. This is the type of guy you want to take him against, right? A guy that's not going to miss the bat, and then you can use a guy with a ton of pop to kind of drive that ball out of the ballpark. So, unfortunately, the books are onto it. Nolan Gorman has 1 homer this year. He's been dog shit, absolute dog shit. And I like Nolan Gorman. I've met him a few times. Got a signed ball behind me. Oh, him. Dude has sucked. And his line for a bomb today is 270. Right? He's the lowest homer number of anybody in that game. Kind of in that same thought process I was just telling you, where you got to deal with a guy who doesn't miss bats, and you got a guy with some pop. But 270, he is lower than Matt Olson. He is lower than Ozuna. He is lower than Miles Michael is facing freaking Austin Riley, 350. Michael Harris, 390. And we're going to tell it's crazy, man. Just absolutely crazy. But I really like the fade of Elder here with the no strikeouts in this lineup, really. And just we're not missing bats at all and really struggling against lefties. Heading over to the other side, Trevor Williams, this one's bought down quite a bit. But I really do like this spy as more of like a juice reducer when you get to talk about taking this Baltimore team against right-handed pitching. They've been atrocious against lefties. has been well documented so far this year that they have not been able to hit lefties at all, even with the amount of switch hitters. I feel like they're really missing Santander in the middle of this lineup. They just don't have that scary guy in there. Jordan Westburg has been good. He's been very good, but he is not instilling the confidence of a 40 home run hitter, right? He's not a guy like that. When you have a switch hitter that hits 40 bombs in the middle of your lineup, that really kind of has to change the way you pitch guys. I do like, though, when they do face righties, because you get a guy like Ryan O'Hearn, who is very, very good against right-handed pitching. He's in there to literally just hit right-handed pitching. And you go down this list, and I get to worry about Cedric Mullins, right? Cedric Mullins, fantastic. Against right-handed pitching. You get Adley Rutschman from his better side. He has more pop from the right side, but he's better hitter from the left side. Jackson Holliday from the left side. And then you still have to deal with, probably Mountcastle. He's going to probably be batting like 7 or 8. And that guy's batting in the middle of this lineup against lefties. So I just think this is a really tough lineup to navigate. Westburg has also been very, very good in this lineup. Like I said, the number one hitting team against right-handed pitching. Not walking a ton either, only 8% walk rate, but a 131 WRC plus. They're higher than the Yankees. They're 20-something points higher than the Dodgers. This is a very, very good team against righties. And I think that we get Williams kind of doing his thing where he doesn't care if he gives up hits. He's just trying to limit the hard contact, trying to limit the home runs, and let the guys put the ball in place. So I'm not really worried about anything else here because he doesn't walk a ton of guys, not a high strikeout guy. And if I have to rely on these balls finding a hole, I think I'm going to do that versus me trying to hope that a couple of these 100-mile-an-hour balls just go right at somebody. So I feel like I'm going to play that game where we're going to see a lot of hard-hit baseballs. Just hopefully they are not right at someone. So sign me up for Elder 5, Williams 4, -120 on DraftKings.
Yeah, I really liked your analysis. Definitely going to be tailing this one. I like this spot a lot. You said a couple things that stuck out to me. One, I feel the same way about them missing Santander. When I was looking at that lineup yesterday, and it actually made me think of something you said earlier too, with how they're pricing these home runs. Because Santander would have been like the home run guy to pick yesterday. You're looking at Mitchell Parker, a guy whose advanced stats are a lot worse than his box score stats, a guy I've been looking to fade recently, right? But then you look at the Orioles' difference between lefties and righties. You look through the lineup individually, and I couldn't even really find someone I wanted to fade against Mitchell Parker, except one guy stuck out a little bit. Tyler O'Neill, you look up the odds, the guy's plus 260 to hit a homer. It's the same thing you had with Gorman, where it's like the one guy that, does kind of stick out is like they fully priced it in right there. So definitely agree with them missing that big bat. But then when you switch to the right-handed side, a lot more weaknesses in that lineup. I think both of these games are going to be good for overs. I mean, Williams and Sugano are like the same thing. They're both like soft throwing contact pitchers that are going to give up some hits. And like you said, they're not really worried about a single. They're trying to stop homers. You know what I mean? They're not striking anyone out. They're letting those easy kind of at-bats go. So definitely like that side of it. And then Elder Michaelis is like prime day game action. Like both of those guys kind of suck. Elder, I didn't know it was that bad with the whiffs. I mean, that's absolutely brutal. So yeah, definitely like the spot. Really like the analysis. Going to be throwing this one in right here before we get going early.
Yeah, it was pretty funny when I was just seeing 0, 0, 0, 0. I'm like, holy shit, dude. You can't tell me you couldn't just make one guy miss something? Like, God damn, it's tough. So, yeah, we are ready to roll. Let's take a look at the chat, guys. We got a couple of you guys in here. We appreciate you jumping in early on your Wednesday afternoon. Got Tyrone hit my biggest play of the year yesterday, riding high, boys. Hey, I'm happy for you, my man. Hopefully, it's something sign for something to come here. Hopefully we can continue winning with you. We got sports in here as well. Appreciate you popping in here too, my man. And I guess it's over to NBA. So, Stu, anything you want to talk about before we get into your bets? Anything you want to talk about today's game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I really won't have any spread bets today. Like I've been betting a little bit more against the spread recently. Maybe the Rockets if they get like to -2.5 or -2, but I don't want to lay the Rockets to cover anything just because I don't know if you watched that game. They suck on offense. They're what we thought on defense. I mean, Steph Curry was making Steph Curry shots. He's going to do that sometimes, and you're not going to beat him when he does. But other than that, I mean, like the Rockets can't really score. So if you get like a medium tier Steph Curry game as opposed to like a really good Steph Curry game, then the Rockets can win. But I'm a little concerned about the offense. That's the number one thing that kind of sticks out to me there, and why I wouldn't lay like a -4, a -5, because then you're asking them to cover by margin, and that's just not something I'm really comfortable with. The only other big thing is Jason Tatum. Everyone is betting like he's officially out. It is most likely he's out, but from what I've seen, he's still not officially out. He's still
I saw doubtful, right? Doubtful.
Yeah, and he said even in an interview he still wants to play. I'm not saying it's like, doubtful used to mean like 80%, and now it kind of means like, or even 90. It used to be 95% out. Now it's like 60% in the NBA. Like, I don't know. Like, I think he probably does sit, but I will just say, if you're betting like solely based on that, I'd be a little careful, just because it is possible he still might suit up. It's a playoff game at the end of the day. But yeah, I figured I'd throw that out there. That's why you're seeing the Celtics as only a 10-point favorite as opposed to like a 14-point favorite like they were a little bit earlier in the series. So I'd be a little careful with the injury news. Jason Tatum probably doesn't play, but I it's the playoffs. You don't need to fire off a billion things before you know for sure.
Yeah, no, I haven't even looked at NBA, my man. So I am going to be zero to no help today. On these. All I know is I did enjoy watching that Rockets game for about 10 seconds, and then it just turned into a fucking brick fest, and I had to watch nothing. I will say this. I think Jalen Green is probably one of the most overhyped dudes I've ever watched. He might be one of the worst one-on-one players I have ever seen. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. You're getting bodied by a 38 fucking year old Steph Curry defensively, bro. He was bodying this kid. You're 22. You're so much. You're like in the prime, bro. You're feeling good, and Steph Curry just absolutely just stomped on you defensively. And usually they're hunting him to play defense. Holy shit, Jalen Green! Figure your shit out, or just go fucking sit. It was so hard to watch.
Yeah, as a guy that likes the Rockets, I'm a big Amen Thompson fan, like huge fan.
Yeah, go down the list, but Jalen Green on the bottom of that fucking list.
Exactly, but what I was getting to is when I wanted to bet the Rockets in the playoffs, right? Because I'm like, I like these guys, I like Sengun, I like the players. Once you kind of get in the weeds and you look at their roster, you start to realize like they need Jalen Green to score to succeed. And for me, that was simply a hump I could not get over to bet on them. Because when you look at the roster, it's either him or you need like Fred VanVleet from like 2018, 2019 Raptors. Like, because Sengun can score a bit inside one-on-one, but those are slow, ugly possessions. Like, who's getting you those tough mid-range buckets? Who's the shot creator? It's technically Jalen Green on this team, and it's why you've seen a billion trades for KD to come over here, to guys like, the Donovan Mitchell, Tyler Heroes of the world, because they need that shot creator. They need a better version of Jalen Green. And the more I looked into it, the more you can take out a center, you can take out a Sengun. Who's going to step up? Like, it has to be Jalen Green, and that's why I couldn't bet any Rockets futures, because I agree with you. I don't see that happening. Like, I've never seen it happening. The guy can score in bunches, but he's an inconsistent player, and he's never shown it in the highest level in the playoffs before. So just wanted to add that on of like, too much depends on Jalen Green for me to be comfortable with the Rockets. I'm not talking about on the show. I will have a little bit of money on Fred VanVleet tonight, even though he shot like fucking tour dates yesterday, like 2 for 13 from 3, something like that. It was brutal. But I'd rather bet on Fred VanVleet than Jalen Green for sure.
Yeah, tough watch. Tough watch. That game was fucking horrible. Let's kick it over to you. We'll kick it to that Miami game, sir.
Sounds good. Well, speaking of tough watches, terrible quality of play. I mean, how does that happen? You get these slow teams, you get a lot of defensive players. That's exactly what I'm talking about today. We're going to the defensive stoppers. We're going to the ugly bench wings. We're going Haywood Highsmith, one of my favorite guys, over 5.5 points, -120. If you've been watching the show for a while, I bet Haywood Highsmith multiple times, both in the regular season and in the postseason in past years, because he's exactly the kind of guy that fits this Heat culture. And frankly, he fits this Cavs series real well. We saw in game one, Haywood Highsmith, he went from about 20 minutes in the play-in, kind of just average bench role with this numbers kind of set to he played 31 minutes last game. He was out there, he was involved. And I mean, one common sense plays in a little bit here. Sure, both of these two teams are big. And when you play a team like the Cavs, you need to match size with size, right? Some teams you can go small, you can speed up the pace, you can try to attack it that way. How the hell are you going to speed up the Cavs? Like, you can't really do that. Like, especially with Mobley and Allen both in at the same time, it's extremely hard to do. So what we saw in game one, which I kind of agree with, to be honest. I like Kel'el Ware. Ware only played 20 minutes. He was not super involved. It makes sense. You got Bam Adebayo who can play the true 5 as well there. And then you can slot in a guy like Highsmith to play the 4. That way you're not even sacrificing that much size. You're still playing 2 traditional bigs. You just get a guy like Haywood Highsmith, who is one of the rare players who can guard, in the same 2 possessions, Donovan Mitchell down the floor one time, and then Evan Mobley down the floor the next. And also Hunter off the bench is a fantastic matchup for Haywood Highsmith. And we saw Hunter barely play because of it. We saw Ty Jerome get a huge spike in minutes. And I saw people betting Hunter last game and complaining after. And I'm like, this guy has like the worst possible. I'm not saying it's going to be 1-to-1 the whole time, Highsmith shadowing him. That's not how basketball works. But just stylistically off the bench, you got Kyle Anderson and Haywood Highsmith, 2 awesome bench defending wings. Like, I don't know. I never really got that logic there. So this number is still kind of priced at 5.5, exactly the same as it was last game, right? And last game, everyone was going in with the idea, including myself, that he probably played 22 minutes. So now we've seen him play 31 minutes, and we haven't seen an adjustment at all. And I get the Heat lost that game. You could see some adjustments from their side. I just don't think, and I find a hard time finding any Heat fans thinking that, like, more Kel'el Ware, I guess, and less, like, Highsmith is the right answer there. And then it's definitely not Kyle Anderson. I don't know if I've seen the guy. He plays like Ben Simmons. Like, Kyle Anderson has never seen a shot he likes to take. He's looking for a pass. He's looking for a dribble handoff every single time. Like, Highsmith is a willing shooter. He's not the best in the world, but pretty much all of his shots are going to either be offensive rebound related or they're going to be wide open threes, like legitimately wide open threes. And his 3-point shooting metrics are pretty good this year on small volume. So for me, I like the kind of shot diet he's going to have, putbacks, open threes. I think the minutes are going to be at least, I want to say 26, 27, with once again upside to hit that 31-minute mark. And it's the playoffs. Defense wins championships. These kind of versatile wing defenders are guys that get boosts this time of year, especially in an organization like the Heat that really emphasizes this and wants you to play this gritty, aggressive defense, because that's the only way they win this basketball game. It's the only way they win any playoff basketball game, is making it as ugly and slow as possible. And I think Highsmith is definitely a part of that solution. So 5.5 points, -120 is available on DraftKings. Other books are 6.5. I would play that 6.5, but I'd probably go down to a half a unit for that one.
Okay, perfect. And then I'll kick it to another just ugly fucking basketball game.
We got an ugly basketball game, and we got another guy contributing to exactly why it's going to be an ugly basketball game. We got Jonathan Isaac, over 9.5 points, rebounds, -115. I would say the better version of Haywood Highsmith, but the more injured version. Like, Highsmith might be a little bit better in offense. But Jonathan Isaacs, I mean, anyone can admit this. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. When you look at a per-minute basis, from a block rate, from a steal rate, nobody in the league is better than Jonathan Isaac. This guy is just a phenomenal defensive player. He's a big that can guard wings and even smaller guards like your Jaylen Browns. He's probably not going to be out there on Pritchard. But, I mean, 2 through 5, extreme defensive versatility. It's the same exact situation as what we just talked about, where Wendell Carter played a bigger role. Wendell Carter was at 28 minutes, didn't really give you that much besides, I believe, 13 rebounds, and like 3 or 4 of those were like contested tips and stuff like that. Like, I've really never been that impressed with Wendell Carter, to be completely honest. I don't understand why I would play Jonathan Isaac more minutes than Wendell Carter every single game this series. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I think we're trending more in that direction. And Isaac had a phenomenal 18 minutes. He was either the first or the second guy off the bench. He's really the only bench size. They only play Goga in garbage time this time of year. So it's not like he's really going to be in there, or like extreme foul trouble. Obviously Goga would come in then. So not only is Isaacs getting minutes as the backup 4, he's also getting minutes as the backup 5, and he can play like a versatile wing position. And the thing you got going, everyone on the Magic sucks. Like, when you can replace like 3 guys who could possibly being benched for not making shots, that's like great upside. And I get Paolo and Franz are not going to be the guy to get benched, right? But every single other person on this roster, it's like up in the air. Like who knows what we're getting from KCP in the playoffs? This guy's been brutal. They needed that 3-point shooting veteran. That's what they thought they were getting. And then it's just been disgusting so far. So for me, I see upside in stealing KCP minutes to close. I see upside in stealing Wendell Carter minutes to close. He was at 18 game 1. I think 20 can kind of be his floor right here. And I think the reason I played points rebounds is I don't like rebounds with guys like him and Highsmith that often. But in 2 games in the postseason, he has 22 rebound chances so far. So the opportunities are actually there. And instead of having to maybe chase Jason Tatum around, which is what he was doing more last game, the other guys he matched up the most against were Porzingis and Al Horford. So instead of maybe those long rebound opportunities on Tatum, he's probably going to be in the paint a little bit more fighting. So he only had 2 rebounds. He was not efficient on his rebound chances last game, but I see upside in that category. I see that, evening out, and I think he has enough potential upside to make points, rebounds more worth it than just points alone. Because I was initially just looking at the 4.5 points right there. But I do think with those rebound chances and with possibly Tatum out and playing a little bit closer to the rim, I do think that we could see more rebounds, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So I love Jonathan Isaac. I played over 1.5 stocks as well. It's only on Bet365 right now at -125 and like Hard Rock if you have those books. So not widely available. That's why I didn't go with it on the show. I would expect him to go over his steals and blocks as well. That's what he's out there to do. He's one of the best defensive players around. So big fan of Jonathan Isaacs. Both these are pretty much the same philosophy in that the starter has showed some weakness. Both of these guys were pretty much the first guys off the bench. They played some of the heaviest bench minutes possible. And I think that's going to continue. I don't see any reason why they would go away from that. So need this defense. And I think both of these 2 guys can provide it to you. Back in Jonathan Isaac tonight. Hopefully it's a little bit less disgusting than last game. We'll see. No promises.
Yeah, what's the total on that? Like 190?
It's probably, I don't even know. I can check real quick.
It can't be over 200, bro. After watching that last game, there's no fucking
196.
Yeah.
196.
All right. At least the books are just like, all right, this is gonna be fucking rocks, bro. We're gonna be throwing.
I can see the over. I can see maybe Tatum out is what scares people, but I can see the over, honestly. Just because I think the Orlando can get you like 90 minimum, so I don't know. That'll be interesting. I'd be a little surprised if it didn't go over, to be completely honest, but I don't know if I actually want to put real money on that, because then I might hate my life even more, which doesn't seem like a worthwhile trade-off.
God, yeah, that's good. You're gonna be like, why are you walking the ball up the court? Why are you not running? Why are you not looking to shoot the fucking basketball? Like, God, that shit would annoy me. It would just annoy me when you're looking for an over. It's like betting a Houston Cougar over. It's like, they don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it. So, all right, let's get a quick recap. I'll get mine out of the way here first. Elder, 5 hits allowed with Williams, 4 hits allowed. That's -120 over on DraftKings, and we'll kick it to NBA over the Stu.
Sounds good. We got Haywood Highsmith over 5.5 points, -120 for the Heat. And then we got the Magic. We got Jonathan Isaacs over 9.5 points and rebounds, -115. Like I said, like the stocks at 1.5 if you have Bet365 as well.
Beautiful. Well, we got 25 you guys in here live. We got 8 likes. Let's get that up to like 15, boys, before you guys get out of here. Stu, anything else for the people? You got a long shot on the board? Anybody you're looking to? Obviously, not all of them are out yet. this early in the morning, but anything catching your eye in that term?
Yeah, I mean, MLB, the only thing I have is Olsen Homer, but the price is awful, honestly. I don't even know if I want to give it out. It's like only plus 300. If you have exchanges like Novig, plus 350 is available right now. But yeah, I don't know. It starts in like 5 minutes as well. Outside of that, the only thing, my general suggestion, especially for tomorrow's game as well, guys that sucked last game are the guys you should probably take in the NBA for long shots this game, right? We saw Kawhi Leonard, slow game one, absolutely went off game two. I think it's not today's slate. Tomorrow, we won't have a show. Karl Anthony Towns, I think, is that guy. He's at like 21 points right now. I played 30 plus, and I played to be the leading scorer in that game because that was unacceptable. I mean, I talked about Brunson earlier. I don't know if Cat touched the ball with 8 minutes left to go. Like, no joke. I don't know if he touched the ball, which is maybe Tibbs doesn't correct that, but in any other locker room in the world, that's unacceptable. And part of it, you should be angry at Cat for not screaming to get him the ball. That's what good players, elite players should do. But bounce back is what I'm trying to say. Like these slow games, Jaren Jackson Jr. did it last game. No one wanted to bet on him. He only had 2 points, I think, in game one, dropped 20. I mentioned him earlier. For me, Fred VanVleet is probably going to be that guy tonight. So if you have the stomach to do it, 20 points is around like plus 380. Probably some threes ladder stuff as well. Like that. My general advice is just the guy that sucked last game. I know it's hard. You just saw him suck last game. It's one game, right? These guys have whole season samples. I would just say generally playing the guy that sucked last game will be my long shot advice going forward in the playoffs.
All right, quick thing here. We got game leaders for points on this Celtic game. We got Van Carroll plus 125 and Wagner Brown 325 each. If you're assuming Tatum's out, do you just go Brown or what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I've had a lot of success betting Jaylen Brown in the past.
I hate Jaylen Brown. I actually despise this dude. I do not think he's that good. So I don't think I can fucking do it.
How crazy is Pritchard? If Pritchard is like crazy, I would consider it. I know it's not a garbage time game, but I would consider it. If it's like, I don't know, like 20-1, 30-1, like Pritchard has the capability because Orlando takes away like a lot of shit. Orlando makes you like beat them straight up. Like they make you work.
Peyton Pritchard is 45-1.
Okay, I'll put $5 on that. I think it's probably a donation because Pritchard only really does that in like blowout games. But this could be a blowout game one. The other guy, Derek White, he just dropped 30. Do I want to go Derek White back? That's right.
He's like 11-1, bro.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Paolo probably wins it just because. Well, they did a good job on him. I don't know. Yeah, I think Paolo probably wins it, but
plus 120.
Yeah, I don't know if I could bet that really. What do you say, Franz? Like
320. Him and Brown are the same.
I don't know. Franz probably my favorite pick of those guys. Honestly, I think Franz would even be that. Jaylen Brown, I could see just because he will like attack and he'll do the mid range stuff. But I don't know. I don't know if I can get to Jaylen Brown there. Maybe he'll prove me wrong and I'll look like an idiot here.
So the last one I'll bring up is how do you not take Curry? Because I'm seeing Jimmy Butler at plus 180. What are we doing here? Like in the playoffs? Like I get it, playoff Jimmy, but like plus 130 for Curry, plus 180 for Jimmy, and then Sengun is plus 480. That's the third place. How do you bet Jimmy to score more than Curry ever?
Yeah. I don't know. I would definitely take Steph Curry. I like that look there. I think that's a good spot. When you said 180, I thought you might say Steph was like minus 140 or something, like, I don't know. I could see that because I don't know. I mean, you got to think they're going to have a better game plan, but still, like at the end of the day, that's kind of crazy. So I would definitely take Curry plus 130 right there. And then once again, I know it's insane, but I like Fred VanVleet again, so I might even consider him.
25-1 right now.
Yeah. He took 13 threes last game. He took 13. And he's, you know what I mean? He missed a lot of them. He missed 11 of them, but still, like, that's my argument there. I think he could be a sleeper, but it would be ugly.
And if I had to, I know this game's fucking nasty. I kind of feel like I have to bet Tyler Hero to be the leading scorer of that game.
I agree.
Donovan Mitchell being plus 140 is criminal, bro. Like that's stealing money. Like that's stupid, bro.
Yeah, I bet Garland last game because of it too. I think Mitchell probably stays a little more quiet. He has Davion on him more. Like, I agree with that. What's Hero though? Is he getting at least like 200-300 something?
Yeah, 230.
All right. Yeah, that's not too bad. I agree.
Darius Garland being plus 600, I think, is fucking wild to me. Like, I don't see him outscoring Tyler Hero.
Garland's stuck in that 20 to 25 range. He's not going to give you like the 38, the 36. Like, you need a upside, like heavy upside. I don't really see Garland having that as much. So I agree. I like Hero more.
Yeah, that's just the thing is if I want to get the same price, I need Hero to go for 30 to get the same price as him just winning the thing. And I'd rather just take him to be the highest scorer of a game than having to fucking deal with that, you know?
I agree with that. That's a good call. And that's why, just to circle back real quick, why I don't like going against guys like Steph Curry in these markets, because you got to beat Steph Curry. You know what I mean? Like, that's the ceiling. And the ceiling is lower in this Heat game in general. So I definitely agree with that. And yeah, why I would not be taking like a Jimmy Butler against a Steph Curry? Because even if Jimmy Butler has a good game, right? Jimmy Butler drops 28 points. You get a good payout if you just bet that straight. Well, leading scorer, he's still got to beat Steph fucking Curry, which I never really want to be against. So yeah, wanted to point that out. But yeah, I like these markets. Definitely. I'll probably grab some Steph in there for sure.
Sounds good. Well, we will get out of you guys' hair. The game starts in 10 minutes. Go lock in Bryce Elder for the hits allowed. We got 25 of you guys in here. We appreciate you. We just got to 14 likes. So we're right there, right on the cusp. But we appreciate you. Hopefully you guys are ready to roll with us today. Appreciate you jumping in early on your Wednesday afternoon. And hopefully we'll be able to win you guys some more money here. So thank you guys so much. We will see you Friday. And best of luck on all your best tonight.